Hi everyone, Sarah here. I wanted to bring this conversation out of the context of the container that it was previously in and into the world so other people could connect with it and benefit from it. I'm in the world of allowing this deeper dive into ourselves, into transforming ourselves, into healing ourselves from within, from past pain to present power, utilizing the power of our unconscious minds. And our unconscious minds are programmed, they're conditioned to come from a particular place because of past experiences. And so because of that, we're all coming from simultaneously the same place and a different place. And we all have experiences with connections, beliefs, and triggers, if you will. Triggers is just information, right? But generally in the world of trigger, when it results to trauma, is just trapped information. But there's information within that connects to different things without outside of us, whether it be words, whether it be anything that comes to us through our senses. And this word came up today in a conversation within our container, and that word was hypervigilant. And we were talking about the ability to be hyper present and the difference in hyperpresence and hypervigilance, because it's such a beautiful experience when you've gone through this transformational journey and reprogrammed and rewired the unconscious programming that you have within from a traumatic, neglectful, or abusive past. And now this lens in which you're living life through and what you're seeing life through and the experiences that you're having are different. That you're seeing them differently, you're experiencing them differently, your body is reacting and responding in new and different and much better ways. Generally, it's not a linear path to healing, but you have this beautiful ability to be hyper present, because oftentimes the mind of the traumatized is having experiences, but the lens and the filter in which they're having those experiences through are ones of title, or the phrase of hypervigilance, and we'll get into that definition in just a second. And you're also able to be hyper present, but you're hyper present on different things. And as you go through this experience, this transformational journey to change and really align your subconscious mind with things that feel safe inside your body, safe with things outside of your body. You feel safe to really embody who you are, to embrace and be yourself without fear of rejection or abandonment, or is this person going to like what I say? Are they not going to like what I say? Do I need to change what I say in order to get them to like me, to approve of me, to respect me? And doing this inner work to transform that, and really embodying the ability to be fully present in yourself, hyper present. And what I mean when I say that is the ability to walk down a sidewalk, to take your dog for a walk, and to smell the fresh cut grass and to appreciate it. And perhaps for you, that smell connects with this understanding that things can change and grow and evolve, and your smelling sense is a part of that, knowing that grass grew and someone is coming and they're tending to it and they're taking care of it. And that is what the smell of the fresh cut grass resembles and connects with within me, that I too am growing and changing and evolving, and I too am tending and taking care of myself, for myself and for others, so that I can do the same for others and hold that space for others. And I'm feeling the warmth of the sun on my skin, and I can feel that my skin is warm, and I'm aware that my skin feels warm, and it's connection to the warmth that's within me. That warmth that I feel outside of me on my skin is this warmth that I feel within me, where I used to have a cold heart and now I feel this warm heart, this pulsing heart, this beating heart that pulses and beats with love, and I feel it moving through my body. And I just have gratitude for the warmth on my skin and the smell of the fresh cut grass. And as I'm walking my dog, I stop, and I don't get angry and go, come on, when they stop to sniff something. I allow that. And when I feel the difference at the end of the leash, where we once were walking and now we're stopped, and I look over and I just look at my dog with gratitude and joy, and just such an incredible life. The ability to just be fully present and have interest in things. What was that smell? And to investigate and connect with that smell and explore. instead of just passing it by, just completely numb to it or angry at it, or this feeling like, well, that shouldn't be there. And if you're walking a dog, you realize, okay, anytime they pass by poop, they're like, oh, what's that? What was that? I wonder what they have. I wonder what created that. And they get really curious about it. And they begin to explore it. And we think, oh my God, that's disgusting. I don't think it's disgusting. If they did, would they do it? I don't know. But we can oftentimes have that experience of, in this example, walking our dog and not even noticing or embracing or connecting to those things, or connecting to this, my gosh, I have to take you for a walk so you don't destroy the house when I leave. You need enough exercise. This is such a pain. I have so much I need to do, and I could be doing besides this. And come on, let's go. When your dog wants to explore what the other dog had for dinner or lunch the day before. And that's being hyper present in the terms of, seeing the neighborhood that you're in, and really just having gratitude for the neighborhood that you're in, and the fact that you have a roof over your head, and the fact that you can walk safely, and that you have a dog to walk. And this is a dog that is always excited to see you when you get home, and just fully loves you, and is like, I missed you so much. And a dog that isn't going to yell at you and tell you all their problems, and dump all their emotional stuff on you, and just fully embodying all of the beautiful things, all of the wonderful things, and being so present with them, being so focused on them. Hyper focused, taking this walk with intention, with the intention of gratitude, and with the intention of connection, with the intention of noticing instead of just tuning out, checking out, and disconnecting. And so our conversation led to this discussion about hyperpresence and hypervigilance. So I'm going to read to you the definition I found online for hypervigilance. What does hypervigilance mean? The definition of what it says is, hypervigilance is when the nervous system is inaccurately filtering sensory information, and the individual is in an enhanced state of sensory sensitivity. This appears to be linked to a dysregulated nervous system, which can be often caused by traumatic events or PTSD. So if you've been in my world for any length of time, you know that I specialize in guiding people through the journey within their unconscious mind, really deeply, powerfully getting to the very core and the very root of their unconscious belief system, because the belief system leads to everything else. It leads to our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our actions, our inaction, and ultimately leads to this picture that we have of life. So if we're using that same example, walking down the street, and your ability to be hyper present in the things that you're grateful for as you're going through that, as you're doing that. And hypervigilance, right, is saying you can take that same walk with the same dog, the same path, and have a completely different experience. An experience where you don't connect with, wow, this grass is tended for and cared for, and the smell of it reminds me of the way that I'm doing this to tend and care for myself. It's taking that same walk and having your mind be ruminating and reminiscing about the last argument you had, about all of the things that you lack in life, and about the ways that you're stuck, and about ways that this is never going to change, and going through all of the stuff, all of the chaos, and all of the pain, and all of the heartache, and all the trauma from the past, to try and figure out the answer to the question of why. And you're going to be very, very limited when you try and figure out the answer to that question consciously as you're going for a walk with your dog. And you're going to be mad, and you're going to be checked out, tuned out, and perhaps you're walking down the street and sidewalk, and someone is in their driveway and they're backing out, and you were in another world in your own mind, and your dog, you're irritated because at the end of the leash, they're like, "That's not what they had for dinner yesterday." And you're like, come on, let's go. And then you continue walking, in a few houses down, someone's backing out of their driveway. They almost hit you, and you get triggered and you get pissed off, and you want to like kick their side view mirror in, because your nervous system is all over the place, and you're not having the same experience. In fact, you're having a completely different experience of that walk. Hyper present, hyper aware of other things, completely different things altogether. So are they really all that different, the hyperpresence and the hypervigilance? Is it the state that's different? And if it's the state that's different, how do you change the state? How do you alter the state? So you can go for that same walk with the same dog in the same direction, but have a completely different experience of it. And what does that require? And in my world, and the journey and the transformation that we go through requires going within your unconscious mind, having access to it, getting to the very core and the very root of the things that are causing hypervigilance instead of hyperpresence, the things that are causing anger and frustration and resentment, and you to be there but not be there, to be in a completely different state versus to be hyperpresent and connecting with things that light you up, that have you filled with a state of gratitude, with a state of acceptance, with a state of joy, with an ability to just go, look at all of these blessings around me. And there's nothing that I need to do. I don't need to earn them. I can walk by fresh cut grass and feel connected and feel like, I can step outside and I can feel the warmth of the sun on my skin and feel like, wow, there is nothing that I need to do to make the sun come up and serve me and allow everything around me to grow and to reach for it and to reach higher and continue to reach for my dreams. And I can have this experience that I'm connecting to all of this beauty around me that occurs naturally. And there's nothing I need to do and I don't need to earn it. I just get to be a part of this experience in this incredible universe of abundance. Or I can have the same experience of walking the dog and being in a completely different state, in a hypervigilant state where I'm there, but I'm not there. My mind is completely somewhere else, is trying to solve all the problems from the past that I wasn't able to solve. And now I feel like I couldn't solve them. So it's my fault. There's something wrong with me. And I'm always going to live in the state. It's always going to be this way. And this is life and it sucks. And I hate it. And I, often question if I want to continue to be a part of it. So hyperpresent, hypervigilant. Different states. And how do you move if you feel like you're stuck in one of hypervigilance to hyperpresence? How do you move from all of that, to almost having the experience of taking your dog for a walk around the block? Wow, that was such a wonderful part of my day. And I'm so grateful that I got to experience that versus I had to do that and this sucks. And that neighbor, I hate that neighbor. You should see, like, every time, I swear, there's not a single time that I've walked by there that they haven't almost ran me over. Very different experiences. But you're hyper present of that. So how different are hyperpresent and hypervigilant? Or is it just the state? Is it the state of being, the state of mind? Is it the state of your subconscious mind and the beliefs you have about yourself having that experience? If you believe everyone's out to get you and the neighbor's out to get you, and you swear that they wait until you walk by with your dog to back out and to leave anywhere. Very different states, but not all that different. Hyperpresent, hyperpresent, hypervigilant. And it's up to you. And really, it's just a state. It's a word, it's a state, it's a definition, and you can connect with it in whatever way you want to. It can be right in your eyes, it can be wrong in your eyes, whatever it is. But the point of this video and the point of our conversation was to share about the differences in experiences and about moving from one label, one state to another in the journey to get there so that you can be in that state more often. Are you going to be in it always? Absolutely not. But can you get to a state where you can be in it more often and not make hyper present hypervigilance, and not make it wrong, and not make it be a state that your body seems to be stuck in, or seems to believe that there's nothing you can do to get out of it, or to move into another one, to shift to a completely different experience of life altogether. So I'd love to know what you guys think about this conversation. If you're ready for that journey to dive deeper inside you, to connect with those subconscious beliefs that you have about you that lend and lead to you having experiences, a completely different experience of the same experience, those two different people, right, that had the experience of walking the same path, same dog. And if you find that you're in that state where you yourself want to move from one to the other, and you feel, I am not sure how, and you're just ready for a guidebook, for a journey book. Okay, yes, that's me. I want to get out of there and into there. And I realize, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. I'm not going to be in there 100% of my life all the time, but I want to be in there more often than not. But I feel like I'm in this state more often than not. And I'm ready. I'm ready for the transformation, the journey. Then I'd love to connect with you. You can find more information in the description below this video. Until then, bye for now.